Okay.
Hi, I have Brett Shuttleworth here with me today. Brett is currently in Bali, and I know Brett because he's a fellow South African, fellow ocean lover, and he is the master when it comes to creating a personal brand out of a beautiful vision. Brett, over to you.
Thank you, Carol. Yes, my fellow sea lover. Yeah, just for your audience to know, I remember the first time we connected. We were running in the same circles because we had studied consciousness, and I reached out to you. I said, Lanazna is like my place to be, and you said, well, come, I have this beautiful place for you to stay, and I came through and had the best time since then, and so that's how we connected, and then also then I got to delve into a little bit more about what you do with regard to bringing consciousness to brands and developing it, and really guiding people about their brands, because in today's society, people have great ideas, but the absolute direction from a consciousness perspective is something that I feel is missing in a lot of brands. And so I acknowledge you, and especially I acknowledge you for, I know central to that, I know women are central to a lot of your branding too. So I acknowledge you for empowering women and empowering their brand. So, which shows up in your demographic as your brand. So what a beautiful day. Yes, I'm here in Bali, north of Bali. This is like the Hawaii of Bali. Not many tourists. It's a secret of mine because, as you know, one of my hobbies and one of my beliefs to run an optimal brand is to have an optimal mind, an optimal body, optimal nutrition, so that you can give an optimal performance, and your optimal performance would give your brand an optimal boost, if you know what I mean. So yeah. I'm here. I come here after every retreat so I can reflect. After every retreat that I do, I come and have a look where I can improve 20% in all areas of the retreat. So before I get into any of the branding stuff, and I come here also because of the swimming here. The swimming, I swim 2Ks every morning over coral and different sea life. Dolphins join me. And it's just to die for. Do you mind if I swing around quickly and show your audience?
I would love you to. Please do that.
Oh, sure, cool. So this is my beach house for 2 weeks. I'm back in South Africa in 2 days. So check this out. Tell me if I'm walking too fast or not.
I am just loving what you're showing me. I'm absolutely loving it. I will contact you after this call and ask you to give me more details.
SmilingSoulRetreats.com. Yeah, look at that. And you see I'm surrounded by mountains in the back as well. You can't really see, but there's mountains, there's hiking, there's waterfalls, there's all sorts of things. So
it is gorgeous. It's absolutely
I'm in heaven.
Gorgeous. You are in heaven. You are in heaven. But
yeah,
to be honest, you created this. You created this lifestyle for yourself.
Absolutely.
For the people who don't know, Brett divides his time between Bali, India, and South Africa. He's created an amazing retreat. So, Brett, tell us a little bit about that first.
Sure. Let me just get my camera or my phone steady. You see what's gorgeous about this too? I mean, I work from my phone. Even laptops were the thing to travel with and work from, but phones are so advanced these days. I even work from my phone, literally. I don't even need to bring my laptop on my travels, which is just incredible to consider how far we've gone. To run a multi-million rand business on your telephone.
It's insane.
And traveling the world, having fun, making your soul smile, developing your brand so it speaks into your demographic. Yes. So if you should be your own brand's biggest fan, you would pay double the retail value for for what you have created to go on by yourself, never mind anybody else. And so this was the backbone and the recipe that I wanted to develop. So let me just share with you. I have an overall company registered in Singapore called Smiling Soul Creations. Smiling Soul Creations speaks for itself. It's creations that make one's soul smile. My intention in life is to create a ripple effect of love across the globe. And so how would I want to do that was the first question I asked myself 8 years when I decided to make my life really about not just about Brett, but making sure that my product, my intention was for the benefit of the whole versus just myself. And everything changed when that started happening. So underneath the Smiling Soul Creations, I have a one-on-one coaching. I coach professional sports teams. Our main source of income, 80% of our income, which is shot up from, from 4 years ago, having 2 retreats to 12 retreats in 3 years from then, and made from 100,000 to a very, very good couple of very good solid millions a year these times of our creation. So it's just been an absolute quantum leap. But as a lot of what I want to share with you from the outside, successful business looks like, you're being blessed and there's a lot of good fortune. But the truth behold is that it's what you do when you face these challenges and to conquer the adversities, because they never go away. No matter, obviously, the bigger you get, the more you face. But it's your relationship to the adversities, your relationship to the challenges that make the significant difference between being normal and really being great. And so we developed, besides the coaching, besides the sports training, besides the one-on-one coaching, I developed a retreat that I wanted to go on. I thought to myself, I studied consciousness. I finished my consciousness diploma 8 years ago. And the one thing that I said was, there must be a different way to wake people up than sitting in a room and staring at a slideshow for 4 days. There's got to be a different way. And so I walked away, I reflected, I meditated, and what came for me was self-development and adventure combined. So you would have the best holiday of your life, where there would be no rules, and you would come back not needing a holiday because you've partied too much or you haven't partied at all. It would be a diverse experience where it would change your life. You would have the most fun. And whatever country that you were visiting, you would see it from north to east to south to west. I wouldn't put you in a cave and stare at a rose in India. What's the point? You might as well do that in Joburg. You would visit the Himalayas. You would camp on top of the Himalayas, watch the sunrise. You would whitewater raft down the Ganges. You would dance under a spiritual mood on Goa Beach, which is the hippie capital of the world, where you would really celebrate the new you that you've discovered. You would go to historical, beautiful wonders of the world like the Taj Mahal. And then in Bali, the same thing. We snorkel on the most secluded islands. I teach a thing called martial arts, Hojo. It's Japanese martial arts too. So on these retreats that I'm busy sharing with you is a lot of times you will go on a retreat, you would get really motivated and shifted by all the secondhand knowledge being given to you. But after 1 month, when I see you again, you're back into your old ways. And you're like thinking, I was so motivated from that retreat. I spent so much money, but now I'm back into these old ways. I don't know what happened. And so the difference between the Smiling Soul retreats and any retreat that I know, and this is the reason why this demographic is why I created it, is that I wanted you to organically get the teachings. So I can give you a manual of how to ride a bicycle, and you can study it and get 100%. But riding a bicycle is a whole different ballgame. There's balance, there's direction, etc., etc. And so on our retreats, I do a teaching every second day for 1 hour, or every second day. So there's nice balance, there's nice reflection, there's a couple of assignments that you have to do. No rules too. You don't have to come to any of the teachings. You don't even need to do the assignments. We're all adults. We all paid for this. This is the demographic I would love to be in. So that's the way it's created. But then once we do the teaching, I then make you ride the bicycle so that you get the teaching organically. For example, if I share with you that if you use force in life, whether it be relationships, whether it be in leaderships, whether it be creating your brand, whether it be the way you communicate with other people, you actually lose power. Now, it makes sense in your mind. You're like, well, yeah, I've had that experience too. I understand. When I've worked for a boss that's used force, I actually lose respect from. This is true. But before you know it, you're back into your old ways of forcing in life because you're coming out of reaction, nervousness, my overheads, I need to do this, I need to make them understand my point, my boyfriend better get this, etc., etc. Before you know it, you're back in those waves, being in reaction to life versus creation. So what I do, for example, is I'll give you one example of a frame program that I use, which means that you become the riding the bicycle versus just knowing it, is I do a thing called Hojo, which is Japanese martial arts. And we get into a circle and there's a father-son exercise where you have to strike the sword as hard as you can. But the minute you're in your head trying to force and trying to be strong and look good and fit in with everybody around you, your strike gets sabotaged by your mind trying to look good and be strong. Versus you letting go of all of that and really tapping into the source of all power where you come from already, and really dropping, looking good, and just having peace of mind and coming with that sort of power. And that sort of power actually snaps the stick, snaps the sword, versus you trying to force. And all of a sudden you get this, you're like, wow, I didn't force the strike, and yet it was my most crisp, elegant, and powerful strike. And then you get a reflection in your own life, and organically, you see that when you force, you also lose power, etc., etc. So that is a lot of what the retreat is designed for. It's from a theoretical point, but then practically you actually get it. So they talk about the caterpillar that turns into the butterfly. The turning into the butterfly is when I actually make you ride the horse, ride the bicycle, do the Ganges, do certain things that are 20% out of your comfort zone and you're fearful of. But the minute you've stretched yourself out of it, you say, what the hell have I been stuck my whole life for? That was easy. That was cool. In actual fact, that's where the gold dust is, 20% out of your comfort zone. So that's how this retreat is developed. And it's for that demographic. I'm not trying to sell it to everybody. I'm not interested. I want people like myself on the retreats. So when I advertise, my demographic is not for people that aren't like this. I believe if you focus on your demographic, even if it's a small slice, at least you get a true following. So I have about 30,000 email followers now, but they're true email followers that get my newsletters weekly. When I first started, I used to buy databases and have 100,000 people, and I wouldn't get any feedback or any sales of it or any emotionally moving and touching feedback from the emails. And all of a sudden, I'm getting real, genuine clients because my demographic is people that want to change their lives, that want to go on a holiday and have the time of their lives and be changed forever whilst having a lot of fun. So we've expanded. We started in India, just 1 retreat a year. We now have 5 retreats in India a year. We have 5 retreats in Bali a year. We have 2 retreats in South Africa a year. And I must tell you that you don't mind me carry on talking because I'm emotionally moved and touched to move your clients that are listening to this about creating a brand, Carol?
I am riveted. Carry on.
You're riveted. Okay, well, carry on being riveted. Because here's the thing. I developed, and I'm talking to people that are creating their brand now. You got to develop a brand that keeps you true to who you want to be in your life and what your highest version of yourself looks like. Whether it be skin products, whether it be creating websites for people, brochures, whether it be teaching people how to belly dance online. You see, the work that I teach keeps me true to the work. It keeps me fit because I am having to be in action with all these activities that are developed in the retreat. It keeps me on point consciously because I'm teaching this. And so I become a product of my environment. And so this has saved my life. I used to be sick in drugs, sex, and rock and roll, and all that type of stuff. I was famous, I had money, and yet there was something missing in my life. And what was missing is that I was chasing this ego identity. I'd been lied to, if you will, in life, that if you achieve so much money, if you become famous, if you have the hottest women, if you have the best cars, if you have this, you will become happy. It's generally an absolute lie. And until you develop a true demographic that comes from your heart versus your conditioned mind, your brand is going to battle. And if you do it for the wrong reasons as well, your brand is going to battle. When you make a product or your brand for the benefit of the whole versus you as an individual, the same source that creates this life works with you and not against you. When you make it about you, you end up struggling. You end up being detached from the miracles of life because ultimately, in my humble opinion, we are all one. If I ask you, where do you hear a bird tweet? You would say, oh, in the tree over there. But if I really had to ask you, and if you're on a retreat and you had to focus, you would get that you actually hear a bird tweet inside of you, not on the tree, which immediately tells you that you must be one with the energy of the bird, because you're hearing it inside of you, not outside of you. When you recognize something is beautiful, you can't recognize the beauty unless you are yourself recognized and know what beauty is. And so when you recognize kindness, when you recognize compassion, you must know what it is inside of you, which means that you are the same energy. And so when your brand and when your product is designed from that perspective, that's when providence starts bending in your favor. I can carry on for hours with this. I'm so passionate about my brand. You need to be passionate about it, and not forcefully, not from a disciplined perspective. I'm passionate about my brand because I'm free. I'm my own boss. I travel. I change lives. It's what makes my real soul smile. I turn my mess into my message. And I've never, ever been so happy over the last 8 years. I'm 47. So 39 years prior to that, where I was achieving everything and getting patted on the back for, was the B and C and D and E evolution of my life, where I wasn't that happy. Now I'm doing things that aren't exposed to people seeing, oh, he's changing a life while I'm sleeping in South Africa. Nobody sees this. But I am so fulfilled and happy. And ultimately, the biggest intention for you in your life, whether you have your brand or not, is ultimately you want to be happy. And so create something that makes you happy. That's a benefit for the whole and not you as an individual. Any questions?
Yeah. I would love some advice. I mean, I really get that. I really get that you're embodying who you are as a brand, but you're living your life, you're living your passion. Your greater purpose is other people. And I also know that there are days, because I read your newsletters, and I think of all the subscribers, I mean, all the newsletters I've subscribed to, yours is the one I literally read from word to word. That is no, I mean, I get a lot of newsletters from coaches, but this is literally, I mean, the one that I read, it really is empowering for me, and it's touching. And you're very honest and authentic and transparent about the battles you go through. What advice do you give? Because I know that sometimes you get passionate, but then something happens. There's life hits you, or you lose your track.
Yeah.
How do you get back on track? How do you stop that ego? I'm not good enough. Who am I to do this? What am I doing?
Yeah.
And you want to go back to being small. What do you do in that situation?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you a couple of answers. Firstly, you come on a retreat. So once and for all, you will get taught that you are not your thinking and your feeling. You are not your thoughts. And when you truthfully get this, when you organically see this and you 100% know this, none of those thoughts that come back in, that sabotage you, that make you small, that say you're not good enough, today's a shit day, you know they're not real. So what happens is you become the observer of it. You own the thoughts don't own you. That's the first massive, massive breakthrough there is. And that's what consciousness means. And that's what the retreats are for. And all my teachings are consciousness. You are not even the thinker of your thoughts. Your thoughts are just there as a tool to help you build a puzzle, to create a brand, to remember your phone number, etc., etc., etc. Who you are is divine love. And in my opinion, this is infinite. It was never born. It never dies. And it might be a hard one to swallow, but when you recognize that your truth is fully complete already, without needing to achieve or make 1 cent or change even a life, when there is something beyond your body and mind that is complete already, oh my gosh, from this peaceful space, this is where you can manifest the most beautiful, awe-inspiring life. So that's number one. Come on the retreats and I will teach you that. But number two is that build a structure of happiness into your day so that these things don't come regularly into your life. Winter, summer, autumn, spring is a natural thing by being human. I even believe that we are spiritual being living a human experience. Now, there's a big difference between being a human being living a spiritual experience, right? But my point here is build a structure of happiness that keeps you true. So, for example, my brand saves me from that type of shit, saves me from sabotaging myself because I'm being true. I teach how to create an intention for your life. I teach how to build a masterpiece that brings out your optimal life from your day, from the time you wake up until you go to sleep for the next year, for the next 10 years. I then teach you the power of gratitude by building in gratitude in a holy hour in the morning. By showing gratitude, gratitude heals you. It's one of the miracles. I call it one of the human 7 miracles of the world. And then balance. If you do not get balance, I'm telling you now, you will burn out. I had all these things I'm pointing towards. I had the opposite hell in it. I was a professional sportsman. I trained too hard. I was injured too much. I was trying to become a springbok before my time. I wasn't patient. I wasn't doing yoga. I wasn't stretching. While people were sleeping, I was running up the hill with bricks and thinking that's the way to do it. All right, so balance is absolutely essential. It's a structure that you need to build into your life so that you do not get sabotaged. Oh, I'm sick and tired of work. It's too much. I can't do this. I'm under pressure all the time. Even if you are at work, build it in. Set a time from 12 to 1. I'm taking my shoes off in Joburg and I'm going to go and walk in the park. Sit in the lawn somewhere in the park with a blanket and eat my sandwiches that I made myself because it's the nutrition I wanted to eat. I wanted a gluten-free bread. I wanted a charcoal bun, whatever it is. But you build a structure of happiness so that you have a minimal chance of this stuff to come in and sabotage you. The next thing that I teach is be your word versus your thinking and feeling. And to the degree that you are integrity to your word is to the degree that you build self-love and self-confidence. And not only that, the universe is not muddled about what you want in life. So when you say, oh, I'm going to start running tomorrow, tomorrow comes and you never do. You're one of those people that always, you know, you speak a good game, but you never ever commit to your word. In 2 weeks' time, when you decide, okay, I'm going to run, the universe has already noticed that whatever you say is it's just blah, 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 blah. So you wake up, you're keen to run, you wake up that morning, oh shit, it's raining, the dogs run away with your tacky. You see, you are not creating the universe to work with you. You're actually sabotaging yourself. When you break your word, you break yourself. And then when you start breaking your own self, your word, your subconscious recognizes this. And before you know it, you become a recluse. You can't look people in the eyes because you're a broken person. But the only person that's broken you is yourself. Happiness, success, everything that you are looking for, you will never find outside of you. That will be a short-term gratification versus a long-term satisfaction. Inwards is everything. And then another thing is never to take yourself too seriously. You know, when we die, you go in the hearse, you don't see a trailer on the back of the hearse with your house, with your fridge, with your cool boobs, with your tight bum, traveling along off to the funeral, right? You come here with nothing, you end up with nothing. You leave with nothing. So my point is, though, when you also realize that's who you think you are, this Brett, and oh, he's done this, and oh, he's done that. When you recognize that you're not that, you never take yourself too seriously again. I'm going to also tell you one of the great aspects about having a great brand is never to take your brand too seriously either. Yes, you can be committed and be completely passionate like I'm about it, but do not take yourself or your brand or your life too seriously. You see, life is about energy, and if you clog yourself up tightly, whatever you hold on to tightly in the universe holds on tightly onto you. And when you are able to let go and live in harmony with the universe, you are able to manifest things because you are being part of the whole, not detached from the whole. So taking yourself not too serious is one of the greatest aspects. And then ultimately, for me, so that you do not get sabotaged by all this small talk, realize that you are infinite love. And you can only hold one thought at a time. Try it. Your audience can try it now. Try and hold two thoughts at once. It is impossible. This is what makes us different to animals or anything like that. We are consciously able to shift our thoughts. So now, if I'm judging and I'm being grumpy, who am I going to attract? Who you being is what you attract. Your next phone call will be from a client, okay, I'm not doing the business, right? Because you're negative, you're grumpy, you go out in your car, you go to the spa, the guy bumps you in your trolley, you're grumpy, you're attracting grumpiness. You have the ability to change your thoughts, to change your being, and who you being is what you attract. Now, when I tell you your truth is that you are ultimately the energy of love. Now, if you speak from love, if you view life, when you see life from love, if you listen to people's conversation with love, not judging them, preemptively judging them, if you believe that love is always working with you and not against you, even when it doesn't look like it on the surface, you know, when you lose a job or you lose a boyfriend or this and that, love is always working with you all the time. It wants you to win. It's nudging you in another direction. It's nudging you towards your higher self. It's not working against you. The ego mind at that stage thinks, shit, oh, God doesn't love me. Life doesn't love me. It's absolutely the absolute opposite of that. And so when you have this relationship coming from love all the time, your next thought coming from love, what are you attracting? You're attracting love. Your next action coming from love, what are you attracting? You're attracting love. And so we self-sabotage our own greatness. Not us, not our truth, who we think we are, and that is the mind. But you're not your mind. Because if I ask you to stop thinking now for 20 seconds, not even about the question I just asked, you won't be able to. So then who is in charge of your thoughts if you aren't?
It's powerful. I have no words, Brett.
This is how you build a brand. This is how you build a brand. And, you know, also, I surround myself with people that have the same vision. I surround my people that people have bought into this vision that love is the ultimate success. Because we have our ups and downs, even with our communication, we have our ups and downs, but we reflect and we realize that we are in reaction to our ego mind trying to be right, look good, or do the right thing versus being humble, versus being compassionate. Versus you come to an office, you don't know where that person has been the night before. They might be on the verge of a breakup with their husband, which is very sensitive. And so you start judging them because they're being a little bit offish for the day. Be compassionate, be kind, and there's a big difference. I even share with you is take responsibility what someone else does to you. Take responsibility what someone else even does to somebody else in your office or in your brand and in your environment. Because look here, if I walk into a room and I'm not this grumpy, aggressive person, that person over there might look at me, he might pick up this energy of grumpy, aggressive person, it might infiltrate him, and then some other guy comes up to him and knocks his wine over by mistake onto the guy. Next minute they're getting into a fight. I need to take responsibility for what someone else does to somebody else. So we hold this in high consciousness and with regard to our team. We have a team of 8 people in our company, and we regularly have meetings. Our meetings are not just about our challenges, about our victories. Our meetings are about how we can best communicate with each other. Our meetings are how we can best serve each other. Our meetings are always about how we can improve ourselves first, 20% out of our comfort zone in terms of our portfolio. And I surround myself with people that are firstly conscious, okay? They are their word, their integrity to their word. They're passionate about the same intention as that I have, not forcefully, not because they want a job, because either they've all been on the retreat, so they've got the work anyway, but that's besides the point. Before they even came on the retreat, I recognized their ability. And here's the thing, not one of us can do what the other person can do. And so I surround myself. Half of the things that they do is Chinese for me. I have no idea. And yet it's probably just as important as the teachings. You get that? And so you surround yourself with people that are passionate, that are integrity to their work, that are emotionally moved and touched about waking up and being part of this company, Smiling Soul Creations. They wake up 5 minutes before their alarm clock because they're excited about their portfolio. And what we do is we respect this portfolio. We never overrule with that person and their portfolio makes a judgment. I give them full responsibility they can go and play golf if they want. But at the end of the day, their portfolio needs to be where they committed it to be in our monthly meeting. In other words, being integrity to your word versus any stories that you come up with. Yeah, so a team is vital. You know, when you bring the spirit of humanness into the team, you get team spirit. You are, inspired means in spirit. You get that, not in ego. And so that's what we do. We all have different skill sets and we love each other for that. We're so in love with each other. We could get married with any one of us in the company just out of pure love, to be quite honest. Yeah. So, I don't know, is there anything else you would like to ask me? Because I can carry on.
I love this. I'm going to ask you one more question, and it's about accessing that personal power, accessing being in spirit, inspired.
Yeah.
I know, I'm talking from personal experience. Sometimes I get into a rut. I'm doing what I was inspired. It's kind of, I'm doing the same thing again and again. My life's not going where I want to be, where I wanted to go. How do I get into, besides going on the retreat, I'm committed to going into one of your retreats, 100%. I'm heading out there.
Yeah.
How do I get into that energy of being inspired, of accessing my personal power, just to kind of get out of my ego, get out of my comfort zone, get out of that place. Can you give me some tips and tools?
So do you mean as a human being or in terms of your brand?
In terms of the brand as well. So sometimes a lot of people come to me
because they correlate together. Firstly, I find so many people that aren't emotionally moved and touched about life in general is because they're doing their brand for the wrong reasons. Like, for example, I became a supermodel, I became a Hollywood actor. I did all of that for the wrong reasons. I was trying to get validated. My parents got divorced when I was 7, so I took it personally. So I tried to prove myself to win over love, if you understand what I mean. And so a lot of times people are creating a brand to get acknowledgement, either from their partner, from their friends, or feel powerful for wrong reasons, for money and all this type of stuff. That's the first thing people really need to look at. Is it an authentic commitment? What is your intention? You see, the thing is, people create these goals, and goals are just short-term little things. An intention is for life. Well, intention is, let's just say my intention is to be the best daddy that I can be in my life. My decisions in life become very easy then. My friend phones me on Friday, let's go for a jog. Or my daughter in the morning comes to me and says, hey, Daddy, the new Barney videos here, will you watch it with me tonight? My choice is very easy, okay? And another thing is that an intention means that you are willing to shift and go with the flow of the universe. You get feedback from the universe. It's the same universe that brought you into this universe. Why would you not be open for feedback, change? So your intention is allowed to shift. Versus a goal, you put a stake in the ground and you know where you're going, come hell or high water. And guess what? That goal might have been created by your ego identity. And so it's discipline, 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 discipline. And a lot of times, even when you achieve it, the satisfaction is not even there. And you think, what the hell am I doing this for? So to get to your point, though, to carry on being inspired, you need to build an inspiring, truthful, authentic life. Okay, so I in the morning I wake up. Okay, I have a holy hour. I wake up really early. If people want to know, I wake up at 3:30 every single morning. It'll shock people. But I go to bed at no later than 10:30. I wake up at 3:30. I actually have it here. I wake up, I have affirmations that I wrote to myself, that I read to myself. I have a vision board of things that I want to achieve, that I actually look into them and then believe that it's actually a reality. I actually have something here. This is a laminated pictures. You see that?
Yes.
Laminated on both sides. Who I want to be. There's my best-selling book that's coming out. There's my smoking, becoming a non-smoker, which has happened now, which is so fantastic. It's one of my biggest achievements this year. You see, and what I teach is not to become a saint. Do what makes your soul smile. Okay? I have no inclination of being a saint. That would be boring as far as I'm concerned. Do what makes your soul smile. This life is very short, but live an optimal life to give yourself an optimal opportunity to do exceptionally well. But I want to give you an example. There's a picture. I don't know if your audience will be able to see it, but there's a picture there of skydiving. See there?
Yes.
Skydiving, right. So the skydiving, so I visualize myself. I haven't done it before. I've always believed in life. You need to, so I'm an adventurer by just my nature. I believe that life is 20% out of the comfort zone. It keeps me young. It keeps me positive. It keeps me fit. I'm 47. I'm nearly 50 years old, you know, and so my point is here, I visualize myself going, jumping out of the plane, getting butterflies. And the minute it becomes a reality to me, I shift over to the next thing. And then I visualize myself, you know, getting booked for 20 very lucrative international talks per year. So there's a guy with a big crowd. I don't know if you see that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I visualize myself on the stage doing the talk and getting a huge standing ovation, and the money's in my account. And so I literally feed my subconscious with the reality of what I want to achieve and who I want to be. And so the scent of that follows me throughout my day. And to the degree of what you put in your subconscious, the subconscious goes out and makes the reality day and night. Now, if your thoughts and saying, shit, life's not going to work out. Oh, you know, look at me, I've put on too much weight. Look at all this stuff. What you're doing is you're putting that onto your subconscious mind. And that is becoming your reality. I won't get this job. There are only hire men, etc., etc., etc. Whatever your majority of your thoughts are is what you create in your life. So you should take absolute responsibility if you want to keep inspired, have an inspired vision, have an inspired morning. So I wake up in the morning, I get a nice cup of coffee with MCT powder, which is an oil. It's an optimal oil. It gives me energy. It's very good for killing bacteria. I get my optimal thing. It used to be with the cigarette or a joint. Now that's cut out. I'm feeling so much better for it. I wake up and I visualize my perfect day. I visualize the finances I need to bring in that I've committed to for the year. I visualize myself. I'm going to India soon to go to the highest temple in the world on an Anfield, a 10-day motorcycle trip to the top of the Himalayas, to the highest temple in the world, just to say thank you. So there's the picture. Now, I need you to get the grasp of it. See there's handlebars on the back?
Yes, I can see.
So I visualize myself. Now, how on earth can I not be inspired by having my optimal life in front of me every morning? So building a beautiful holy hour in your morning and seeing where you're going really, really, really is an inspiration. I listen to my audio affirmations that I repeat to myself. I do audio visualization where I visualize myself through my day. So if my day, for example, is I'm going to go, let's just say I'm working for a company. My boss is grumpy. Every time we travel from Joburg to Pretoria, I have to sit with this idiot in the car and I hate it. You would wake up in the morning and re-relationship yourself to the day. You would create an emotional intention for the day. Today, I'm going to let go. Today, I'm going to be light. You will be surprised what happens when you start creating these tools. You'll get in the car and all of a sudden your boss is kind. You create your life. You literally visualize yourself picking up your daughter after school. She's won the gala or done well at school. You pick her up, jump up. I'm so proud of you, my baby. You put her down. This hasn't happened yet. You visualize yourself drinking your beetroot juice. You visualize yourself doing your 1 kilometer because you want to live an optimal life. You know, if you're not training and if you're not living an optimal life and just being rich behind the computer, you're not going to get anywhere because your health is actually more important than any success that you could possibly have in your life. Trust me, when you reach your 50s, people start knowing all about that. So it's all these little tools, getting complete. When you are incomplete with your word, you're breaking your word, get complete. Phone people and say, sorry, I broke my word, or I'm 10 minutes late, or this and that. You will be inspired to be the human being that you are. You want to live to your higher self. Do you have a vision of what your higher self looks like? What qualities you want to have? What do you want to look like? What your success looks like? If you haven't got that, you're living on hopium. It's a drug that ends in disappointment. And so that's when you get very confused and you have a muddled response. And if you have a muddled vision of yourself and who you want to be, your ideal self, the universe has a muddled idea of what to give you as well back. So to stay inspired is to stay inspired with your vision, is to stay inspired with your happy structure, and to be loved. Be loved to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Those words that are talking to yourself that makes you unhappy, and be okay with that, because what you resist to persists. So don't fight your voice. Acknowledge it, that it's not you. Look at it, observe it, let it go past, and say, okay, cool. My truth is that I'm loved. And so before you know it, the space between your thoughts gets bigger. And that's where your truth is. Peace and silence is when we feel our greatest, because that is our greatest self. Okay, The space between the notes makes the music. Watch here. Ding, 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 ding. There's no music on the piano. Watch here. Ding, 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 ding. There's the music. The space between your thoughts is what makes the magic and the self-love for yourself. What else can I say? Oh, and trust. Trust in the universe, that the universe wants you to live at win in life. I want to tell you just quickly, we're going to end off with this point. When you were in your mother's womb, right? Did you worry about getting out while you were in there that you were going to have the perfectly round eyeball? Or when you were at like 3 months old, you could see, or 3 months in your mom's, you see, you didn't have, your nose hasn't developed. Sorry, Mom, why'd you pass me your cell phone? I just want to phone the nose doctor because I'm scared I'm going to have this. No, you had absolute faith. There was something in you that was completely looking after you. When you came out of your mother's womb, you had a perfect eyeball, you had 2 arms, you had everything going for you. Now, when you get out of the womb, you say, okay, thank you, God. Thank you, sacred miracles. Thank you, supreme consciousness. You've done your job. I'm out of here. I'll take over from now. Do you think that that sacred, supreme consciousness, which you can call God, you can call Muhammad, you can call whatever you want, do you think that sacredness would leave you the minute you come out of your mother's womb? It's a question for you, Carol.
Not at all. No.
Not at all. My point being is here. So if you trust, okay, if your product and you are coming from love, which is an extension of love, which is what I call God, the energy of love, what I call sacredness, what I call supreme consciousness, energy of love. If you're coming from that place, you can trust in life. You can live in harmony with the universe. In other words, whatever it delivers, when you live in harmony with the universe, it creates a peaceful mind. And when you have a peaceful mind because you trust in the universe, whether you get fired or whether your boyfriend leaves you, everything is working for your benefit all the time. And now when you have the peace of mind and you can trust in this, this is the catalyst. This peacefulness, this peaceful air is the catalyst for the greatest platform to you to manifest the reality that you want to become and be in your life.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am I don't know what to say. Namaste. I am inspired in spirit. And I think just being in your space, even though I'm across the world, has inspired, moved and touched me. And I know that you are destined to support others to do more of what you are doing as well. That's my getting of your journey, is to help others do what you are doing.
Thank you so much. And what if it's already happened?
What if it
I'm in it now.
What if it is?
I'm already in it. I've just done it to you, to your audience. This is my point though. You see, we mustn't lose the ideal. We always say when we get to the perfect conditions, that's where we'll be happy. No, you need to be emotionally moved and touched about your day, your presence, your right now. Nothing exists. Yesterday doesn't exist. Tomorrow doesn't exist. So are you waiting to be happy in perfect conditions? You're wasting your time. Develop and create a structure of happiness right now. If you want to learn how to do that, smilingsoulcreations.com. Smiling Soul Retreats. I also do one-on-one coaching. I'm available wherever I am. I do it over Skype. But this, I'm not trying to sell you anything. If any of this, I always say people that come on the retreats are meant to come on the retreats because the language we use in our ads or by listening to an interview like this spoke to your truth. It's like, oh my God, this makes sense. Oh my God, this is it. There's no selling needed. You understand that? And so,
that's
yes, my beautiful friend. My beautiful friend, I wish you all the best. Rock and roll. Did you see my tattoo? People think, what are you doing? It says 27.
What is that? What is 27? Yes.
27 is by the year 2027. I'm going to be hosting 27 retreats in 1 year. It's my lucky number. It was the number I was born on. There's so many valuables to this, or what should I say? So much of my vision and my inspiration comes from that number too. Oh, and 27 people on the retreat per retreat as well. So it's 27 people per retreat on every retreat by 2027. This is our company's vision. And let me tell you, this makes me 27 million rand.
I love it. I love it. And Brett, I'm going to make sure that all your details are along with the videos, that anyone can go and get hold of you. I know that I am committed.
Thank you so much. So you recorded this. I would love this recording as well. I will forward this. I'll play it. Let's do it, man. Let's spread love. This is what we want to do, aren't we?
Thank you.
Rock and roll.
I can't wait to see you again. I really can't. Thank you so much for your time and for your love.
Yes,
thank you.
It's such an honor and such a pleasure. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.